What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns doing a quick breakdown of the latest Mafia 3 Inside Look video. Loose ends, linked below in the description section, which consists of interviews with Hayden Blackman, head of Hangar 13, Bill Harms, lead writer, and Matthias Work, creative director at Hangar 13. And it opens with Hayden Blackman. Right after the title card pops up Mafia 3 Loose Ends. Quote unquote, Mafia 3 takes place in the same universe as Mafia 1 and 2. Now, I realize they focus a lot on Mafia 2, but they really haven't mentioned anything regarding the first Mafia game, The City of Lost Heaven. They're always talking about Empire Bay, but I never hear them say anything about the other city in the Mafia-verse, as I like to call it. So continuing with Hayden Blackman, they reference Empire Bay and characters from the franchise who were in the previous games. Now, the only character that you could really reference from the first Mafia game is Tommy Angelo, but if you watch my Mafia 2 Let's Play, you probably know what happened to him. So I don't really know if the first Mafia game is going to get mentioned as much in Mafia 3 because of that simple fact. Continuing with lead writer Bill Harms, quote unquote, that connective tissue is Vito Scaletta, which is very true, especially if you watched Chapter 14 of Mafia 2. You know that Vito Scaletta and Joe are now connected with the first Mafia game. Okay, so continuing with the connective tissue being Vito Scaletta, after the events of Mafia 2, Leo saves his life, but the price for that is Vito's exile. He's sent to New Bordeaux and can never return to Empire Bay. While in New Bordeaux, Vito falls under Sal Marcano and reports up to him. Now Matthias chimes in, quote unquote, Vito has an axe to grind with Marcano. He was betrayed very much the same way that Lincoln was. However, because Vito is a made man, Marcano can't simply just go after him because of the fact that Vito is still under the protection of Leo Galante, who still exists in Empire Bay. Now, Leo Galante was a main character in Mafia 2. He's also head of the commission. However, there's something that many of you have already pointed out, the fact that Leo is very old. I believe he was born in 1887, which means by 1968, he is about 80, 81 years in age. So the question of how long that protection is going to last is anyone's guess. Continuing, Marcano has to be a little sneakier, a little more political about slowly edging out Vito. It's one of the reasons why Vito is now turning to Lincoln Clay and asking him for help. Going back to Blackman, quote unquote, not only do we address what has happened to Vito in the time between Mafia 2 and 3, we explore Vito's relationship and feelings about Leo, his feelings about Sal, and all the things that have happened. But we also do make sure that we address some of the other big loose ends from Mafia 2, namely Joe's fate. If we have Vito in the game, we have to be able to talk about that and reveal that. So if you're interested in finding out what happens to Joe, along with more of Vito's backstory over the past 17 years in between the events of Mafia 2 and 3, you might want to devote some time to Vito by doing some of his agenda missions, and of course build some loyalty with Vito, and you'll be rewarded as you go throughout the game, and you will learn more about what happened to Joe and his fate. And we'll all discover Joe's fate when Mafia 3 comes out this Friday, October 7th, for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC.